Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusril, the game is World of Warships. It is Wednesday, the 15th of November 2017. It is 2100 Greenwich Mean Time, it is 2200 Continental Time, and if you're unlucky enough to be over in the United States, well, it is 2 PM on the East Coast, something around about 11 AM on the West Coast, and if you're at work, sorry guys, gotta get them dollars somehow. Welcome to another round of work in progress. This is what, the fifth time now that we've had the Graf Zeppelin up for testing, and we have another 2 flight groups to look at. And they're kind of interesting this time because we have a new record for flight group size move over the Saipan bomber wing to be replaced by the 109T wings on the new Graf Zeps. We have this option, a 103 loadout, which packs one wing of 9 or 10 fighters, depending on whether or not you've got air supremacy equipped, and then 3 wings of 6 dive bombers. You can have either high explosive or armor piercing, depending on your personal taste. Armor piercing, of course, very good against battleships, very good against cruisers if you hit the right spot, but it will go straight through a destroyer and do 10% damage at most. Considering that you're talking about 18 bombers dumping 840 damage each into a destroyer, well, that can still pack a little bit of a wallop at 840 a bomb, but you've got to actually hit the destroyer first. The good news is that the bomb dispersion is still circular, so it's, well, at least your approach angle doesn't matter. However, these are not particularly sturdy bombers. They have 1659 health. By comparison, let's grab Enterprise's bombers, remembering of course that Enterprise can fit the tier 9 strike health module, and I do have it fitted, so the Douglas SBDs have 1645 health. Okay, that is baseline, but as noted, you have the option with Enterprise's bombers for an extra 15% HP, and we'll also take a quick look at Shokaku, which I have around here somewhere. I don't think I sold her. There we go. Shokaku's dive bombs upgraded, the Yokosuka D4Y2s, 1610. Okay, they're not too unreasonable. I had the Stukas mentally tagged as the squishiest of the bombers, and actually, they're not that bad. They are, however, I believe, pretty slow. 161 on the Yokosukas compared to 135 on the Stukas. That's actually quite a noticeable speed difference, to the point where I believe once the Yokosuka has dumped its bombs, I don't think there are actually any fighters that can catch it on its return to base. So that is worth bearing in mind. Anyhow, enough talk. We're going to go through the various flight controls. We're going to try the armament options, although there's at least one that I don't think makes any sense. And we're just going to see how this goes. And I'll offer up my thoughts. You know how it goes. This is a work-in-progress stream. Pretty much the standard stuff. Let us get this show on the road. If the server wants to cooperate, of course. Okay, let's see. We have got tier 6 through 8 match. That's not too bad. A couple of tier 6 battleships, a couple of Bayerns. Eesh, that could be worse. Bayern actually packs quite a lot of flak if she's got manual anti-air and the right skills. And the Lexington 54 aircraft rating. That's could be air superiority, could be strike. I'm honestly not sure. Okay. So, yoink, just popped out. One side effect of this single massive fighter squadron is that your bombers actually hit the air first. So 3, 4, and 5 are prepped. We'll just have them scout out. And then we'll bring Group 2 up to the midsection. There's the difference. I mean, it takes almost 28-30 seconds to ready this, and that's from a cold start. If the squadron's been destroyed, of course, you're going to take considerably more time to get that squadron back in the air, and that's one of the first limits on the new Graf Zeppelin flight controls. This squadron of 10 is absolutely devastating in a strafe. It's absolutely devastating in a dogfight, provided there's only one enemy squadron involved. I mean, there would be. Worst case scenario, it's 10 on 7. But there is a slight problem in that it can only be in one place at once. It can only, well, it can be lock and strafed and whittled down that way by a 2-squadron loadout. And these 109s still don't have very much ammunition. So I'm going to have to pull that squadron back to rearm several times in the course of this battle, and every time I do, there's going to be no fighter cover for a period of, transit back, minute or so to rearm, transit forwards up to the line. Let's see, shall we estimate... 2 minutes? 3? During which the enemy fighter squadron can have his merry way with... well, really everything. Let's pull the bombers back, get these fighters forward. It's an air superiority Lex, and I don't think he quite knows what he's getting into here, although he probably does now. Cancel that strafe. And he's backed his fighters off. Okay, 3, 4, 5. I'm going, to try something, because these dive bombs are quite capable of getting through an aircraft carrier's deck. I mean, there's more than 35mm there, so fun times will ensue. Which means that, however, of course, these bombers, nice tight drop circle on manual, not that badly affected by panic effects either. They're pretty well, they're Germans, they have nerves of Kruppstahl. Which means that, I can have some fun. If I can get these guys round past the Lexi's fighter cover and just do a little dance, jink a little fighting, dodge a couple of strafes. Oh, and he's committing. Come on, let's give him some bait. There we are. Now, dodge. There we go. And then counter strafe. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there we are. 4 fighters dead in a single fraction of a strafe. And that was just a tight in and out. That's how devastating a 10-squadron setup. Sorry, a 10-plane squadron would be. A 10-squadron setup would be a micromanagement nightmare. And now he has had enough. He is legging it. Pull them back. Send the bombers along the back line. And he's going to give me... right, so his Lexi is just about there. So he's very handily given me a nice intercept course. That's another strafe going in. If you cut to the tracer, haul it back. Strafe across. Boom. American fighter squadron gone. This is so pleasant after having to deal with Kaga and strafes that so frequent just do nothing. Ooh, there's a Colorado there. He's probably seen the bombers. Decisions, because right now I'm rumbled. These guys are compromised. The Colorado will have seen them. It will have flashed the location of Lexington. He's recovering and repairing his fight squadrons. It's going to take him about another 30, 45 seconds to get something in the air. Okay, doesn't matter. We are committed. There's the Lex. He is on the move. I mean, there's the dot for reference's sake. So 4 and 5 are going in first. They'll be pretty much simultaneous. There's the defensive fire. Again, it's not going to save him. Commit the attack. Bring in group 3. Commit that as well. Boom, boom, boom. Group 3. Okay, we lost Group 5, and we only ripped off 26,000. And I actually need to turn these bombers round and thread them back through the initial engagement. Okay, now where's Group 2 lurking? Alright. So, would have been better advised just to hit the Colorado, honestly, but that was through defensive fire. That was with a panic drop, and it still essentially ripped a third of the health off the Lexington, maybe 40%. Yes, Shuggy, Luftwaffe Naval Wing extremely strong, and they're actually shooting at the right targets for once, so all you Lebrecht Mars drivers out there, you can stop panicking. We know who we're aiming at this time. Accidents will not happen. Why am I spotted? Oh yes, this is Graf's other downside, by the way. Whopping 14.6 kilometer detection. There aren't many carriers for which you actually get told you must have concealment expert. I mean, the Midway comes to mind, but you can put Graf on that list. And, ooh, okay, let's just get the fighters over there. Keep these destroyers honest for a bit. And Group 5 is actually ready to launch, so we'll get them into the air. Get these guys off the flight deck. Another nice thing, Graf has catapults, so her launch times are only 5 seconds compared to the usual 10. That speeds up flight deck operations considerably. And we have an AFK Scharnhorst. Okay, right, well, there's the Akatsuki, there's the Kagero. So if anyone wants to intervene, we have a couple of small boats over here. Thank you, Rimmersoft. You are most welcome to your target practice. I would prefer not to have my only fighter squadron loitered overhead until cows came home, but never mind. Okay, 3, 4, 5, relaunched. Quick rearm on the bombers as well. That's actually quicker than I'm used to. Unfortunately, I am going to need to pull this squadron back to rearm them, which means his bombers are going to have their wicked way. However, plot twist, the Benson found the Lexington. Oh dear. Well, I think I'm going to be able to relax in a few minutes, because that poor sod of a carrier has basically had it, hasn't he? Oh, and there's an Akatsuki coming up and wanting a piece as well. Right, okay, bombers. Let's go bully some battleships. We'll start with... Actually, we'll start with this Monarch, because the Nagato is thoroughly engaged. The Monarch is not. And the Akatsuki's killed the Scharnhorst. Well, that's not really a surprise. Fighters are rearming. Fighters are up. Not going to even bother targeting this with any great precision. Just slap on the auto-aim. Let them come in. And, well, that's the difference between panicked and non-panicked. One citadel. Citadel and a half. And astonishingly, he's not dead. I feel somewhat cheated. However, their carrier is dead, and that means that the fighters are now, well, they're basically a glorified scout wing. Hello, Norse. Hello, Nalby. Thank you for both coming along. Luftwaffe Naval Wing, extremely strong indeed, although I was only pushing... Oh, well, oops, we've just lost the... Well, we've got the Nagato, and their carrier is gone, so it's down to me to start cycling these bombers as fast as I can. And we're going to have to hit this Monarch again, which is not something I'm particularly fond of, because he's running towards this Kutuzov. Well, it's very effective. Actually, you know what? First thing we're going to do, however, is we're going to get rid of these guys, because right now they are providing spotting, even if their carrier is dead. So, line it up. Off you go, Erica. Yeah, 10-plane squadron. It does quite a lot of damage on the strafes. Right, pull them out. Set them up. Round they go. And, oh, here we go. And now there are no more spotter planes. However, we do need to figure out what on earth is in our cap circle. 3, 4, 5 bombers off the deck. 15 seconds to launch 18 bombers. That's actually pretty impressive. Unfortunately, something, whatever's doing the capping, has smoked up. This is going to be troublesome. I also need to find out where that other destroyer went after it was done murdering it. Ah, right, it's the Kagero in the smoke clouds. So there's the Gallus on the air. There's the Kutuzov, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, in order to engage our own bombers, have got to go side on. So you know what? We're going to take out hit these two Bayerns. Totally not damage farming here. Actually, no. Trying to get near the Monarch's a bad idea. That Kutuzov has defensive fire and won't be afraid to use it. Now, we know where the Kagero is. It's in the smoke cloud capping our base. There's the Gallus on the air. Where's their Akatsuki gone? Yeah, I know Stunt is online. It's somewhat annoying. He normally finishes around about 9. I was hoping he would be done by now. But yes, that is why my view count is through the floor at the moment. Whoops. Right, okay, so auto drops coming in on the Bayern. Let us see how well this goes. 18 bombers. Boom. Aha, right, Kagero marked. Okay, with a bit of luck, that'll be enough for our Edinburgh to stop the cap. If we're really lucky, no, it doesn't matter if he smokes up or not, because the Kagero is so close that he's going to have a spot the moment the Edinburgh fires its guns, and okay, well, we're probably going to lose the Edinburgh, but at least he stopped the cap, so his sacrifice was not in vain. Oh, it was the Kutuzov that did the deed in the end. Okay. Yep. All click, no skill. Maybe we can join up. Sorry, don't flip between screens. We can try it, but... Well, he's trying to level the hipper, if I recall, so I want to get the graph done. 3, 4, 5, get the rearms going. Yeah. Unfortunately, now the Akatsuki is in smoke. Right. Huh. Okay. Okay. Bombers in on the go. I think it's going to have to be the Monarch that gets hit this time. Again, just click and forget. Click and forget, ladies and gentlemen. These bombers... Yeah. I don't want to accuse Wargaming of having come up with a no-skill loadout for these bombers, but honestly, what click and forget is... Right. Give me a second. I mean, honestly, how awkward is it that I'm actually just alt-tabbing out and wandering over to someone else's Twitch in order to check what he's actually doing. There he is. Mute that. Don't want to get his audio in my stream. Definitely don't want to get ads in my stream. Well, maybe not. Oh, how's it going with the Monarch? There we are. And we have one. Oop. And group 3. Right, that's the Monarch gone. Problem temporarily solved. I think we'll bully a Gallus on the air with the final wave. Just to... Oh, never mind. Well, there's an Akatsuki, but that's... Honestly, this is a waste of ammunition. Let's go hit the Bayern instead. Pull clear of the Kutuzov, then shift and attack profile. And, oh, they've almost shot down the fighter wave. Yay! Unfortunately for them, I have spares. Right. Okay, and 3 and 4 almost back. Well, I wouldn't say this... Oh, yeah, there you go. Fighters shot down 90 seconds to rearm. So the Death Express is not really a good idea with a squadron this big. Okay. I think they've just about... Yep, there we go. That's the Akatsuki gone, leaving Comrade Citadelovich and, yes, Comrade Bayern. Now, what kind of anti-air has he got? Well, he's dropped 2 on the approach. I dropped half his health on the approach. He's probably going to drop another 2 on the way out. I'm going to stack 3 and 4 so they hit at the same time. And then... Yep, off we go again. I've just realised something. That Bayern is about to make visual contact. Harder port. All ahead full. Hope this kills him. 132,000 damage, basically by right-clicking and leaving them to it. I feel dirty. Right. Running a pool at the moment. Yeah. Well, it's certainly it's certainly much easier to use. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, Lord, Lord. Jeez, that's brutal. Yes. Yes, if you do not have proper anti-air cover and you're in a battleship, both of these graphs will rip you to shreds. Don't worry, you can end up in a tier 10 game, and then it's the other side doing the ripping. Nuke bombers, yes, nuclear bombers. No, sorry, the Dutch blew up the heavy water plant, remember? Yes, it's just, oh, there's Comrade Citadelovich. Okay, he was trying to get clever. Okay, if I send in too much at a time, he is going to trigger his defensive fire, which I don't want to have happen. So we'll set 3, give him a lead of about 10 seconds. Actually, you know what? That's pretty solid. I'm going to have 4 take a little dogleg and then attack. And then I want 5 to take an even longer dogleg and then attack again. And then I want to just bury the carrier behind an island. Hopefully this will stagger it enough that he either doesn't trigger his defensive fire, or, even better, that it runs out when the first couple of waves hit. No DF yet. There we go. Attack committing. 1 hit, and it was an overpen. Group 4 coming in. Just give them a manual attack profile. Now he's popped defensive fire. Pull Group 5 out comfortably in time. Group 4 miss. Group 5 is safely away. Give him another 15 seconds or so to run his defensive fire out. There we go. Sending him in. Oh, defensive fire's still up. Solid. We'll commit. And again, defensive fire. No. Could sort of. Yeah. The Stukas don't care all that much. Get groups 3 and 4 back in the air and back on their way. We've got 60 seconds. We have won this, of course. But whether we can actually bag this Kutsov before the minute runs out remains to be seen. Someone is very not happy, and you know what? I can completely sympathise with him because his fighter cover got nuked early on, and then it was basically just me farming damage, although I don't think there's going to be anything left for me to farm. Here come the bombers. Oh, there's going to be nothing left for them to aim at in a second. There we go. Down with 30 seconds on the clock. Yeah. Yes, all skill. Totally all skill. God, I feel dirty. Yeah, it wasn't even a top performance either. 24 planes shot down, 1600 XP. Right. So, that's with the AP bomb. So, I haven't been reported yet, although I think that's going to change. That was a particularly brutal example, of course. If the Lexington had still been operational, I'd have had a much harder time of it. So, that's one of them. That's the specialised dive bomb loadout. You can go with high explosive as well. And the high X bombs are similarly nasty. Of course, they hit destroyers, but they're not quite as accurate. 120 meter circle. And honestly, by the time you've ripped the battleships and a good chunk of the cruisers to pieces, if your own allies can't handle a few destroyers, then it's really not going to get... yeah. Is the other one worse? Well, the other one has got a choice of bombers, and there's a little bit of a display bug here, but DBAP, yeah, that's the anti-armor-piercing dive bombers. You only get one squadron, but you get deep water torpedoes, so these literally cannot hit anything other than a battleship or an aircraft carrier, which means that you typically load high explosive dive bombers in order to be able to hit cruisers and bombers. I'd actually say this one is slightly less brutal than the triple dive bomb option. How many in a squadron? Oh, well, let's go find out. Lots. You get lots in a squadron. Ooh. In fact, you know what? We're going to swap the commander over. If I strike an underage boat with HE, it might be child abuse. Maybe. And, well, one squadron fighters, one squadron HE dive bombers, two squadrons of deep water torpedoes, and we're going to load a premium defensive fire just in case. Standard carrier defensive fire, 2-minute duration, and very low damage boost, unlike the murder fest that some of the destroyers have got. And we'll also stick premium Damcon in because, you know, why not? It's only silver credits after all. Okay. Right, we're set. Let's go. It might be indeed. So, roll up, roll up. There were a lot of graphs out earlier today. Everyone who had access had fired them up to have a look at the new flight controls. I'm not even sure the BBFC has ratings set up on stream. Oh, there you go. So he's got a test one. So he's got the triple bomber out. He's almost certainly taken armor piercing because the high explosive load... As I say, we'll try it later on in this stream, but it doesn't make all that much sense to me. I mean, the AP bombs are Graf's thing. Very much more so than Enterprises because they've got that shorter fuse. They arm on only 35mm of armour. Enterprises bombs, the US type, I believe, need about 65 to 70mm to arm properly, or they just overpay, which means that they can't do much to most cruisers. They're really specialised in hitting battleships. Of course, Enterprise gets conventional torpedo bombers, and yep, 10 bombers in the squad. So, same drill. Torpedo bombers, of course, are up first, so we'll use them as scouts. Then we'll put up 2 and 3 into the main force. So effectively, you can think of it as, well, almost a 2-2-2 load, except your fighters and your dive bombers are welded up into a single mega squadron. You trade flexibility and turnaround times on the deck for a frankly devastating strafe attack and less micromanagement. The other thing that's worth noting is that Graf is not long on reserves. 14 of each in this configuration. Well, that's, what, one complete reload of the deck and then 40% of a reload. So you have to be surprisingly easy to run yourself out of planes if you aren't careful in this setup. Okay, torpedo bombers are up. No real luck on the early scout. Let's just group them up, let them do their stuff. And then we'll push forward with the fighters and the dive bombers, see if we can't find a destroyer to bully. Oh, there are his fighters. Mirror match, and yep, triple bomber div. He's backed his fights off right. Now let's see, is he going to commit a strafe? Because if he does, I can just evade. Oh, break away. No, that's a standard dogfight. Okay, and... Okay, we got the first kill, so numerically we now have an advantage. There's the second. We've lost 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we are. And there is the... Oh. He is actually winning the dogfight, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And we're just going to go bully a Freddy. Hello, Stronku. Your fighters are distracted, I'm sorry to say. Of course, so are mine. Oh, that will do. That will do even better. Right then. Commit, commit, commit. Torpedoes are running. And we're going to get some... Oh, is he going to... Oh, scraped away that last one, but we ripped 50,000 off. Our North Carolina lost about 40,000. And yeah, AP bombs, so not a surprise there. Unfortunately, we lost the dogfight in the centre. He broke away. Mostly because I think, yeah, he had support from a Lo Young. I had support from a Z-23. Not a great combination either. And let's go check out Point A while everyone else is getting their acts back together. Okay, so swing over the point. What have we got? The answer is not a great... Oh, there's a DM over there. And now they find... Wow. Yeah, Tier 10 anti-air. Ouch. 70% casualties in a matter of... Well, we lost 5 bombers in a matter of, what, 5 seconds? Yeah, people focus torpedo bombers. The funny thing is, once word gets out the Graf's torpedoes are deep water and can only hit battleships, I think people are going to start focusing the bombers just because they might be AP and you've got no way of telling what kind of warhead the Graf's bombers have got until they actually make that drop. Of course, I know now from the fact that North Carolina wasn't burning that he was on AP warhead, so I'm going to be careful to stop this guy, but... yeah. Oh, there we are, 4-5, get them up again. We'll go pay the Freddy another visit. And stay away from Point A, because frankly it's gotten a little bit messy over there. Okay. Oh, they've got a gearing overhead. Adjust the flight course to accommodate that. Group 2 is in position. Group 2 has got targets. Dive bombers incoming. Right, he is stacking his bombs. Now, he's wasting his ammo if he hits the 23. Okay, he actually went for the 23. I'm slightly surprised. I was expecting him to try to punch past and go for the Freddy, much fatter target. Okay. Never mind that, we know he's out of it. 4-5. Rearming. Group 3 back in the air. Keep half an eye on what Group 2 are doing. And we need to kill this Freddy before it murders our Henri. So, Group 5 adjust. Group 4... Nope, there we go. Launch 1. Group 5. Close in. Launch 2. That should do the trick. Yeah, he's dead. He's had it. Boom. Boom. Right. Okay, fighters over there. Bismarck is isolated and vulnerable. North Carolina's isolated and vulnerable. I haven't got a good target for the torpedo bombers at this point. All their other battleships are hooked off to the south. Thereby the Ibuki, the DM, the fighters. Yeah, not a good mix. So let's just push the dive bombers forward. See if we can go bully this Edinburgh. Or at least locate it. Pull out, have a look at the map. Okay. Again, lost a significant wodge of torpedo bombers just to the Freddy's flak, never mind anything else. He's doing they're doing a remarkably good job of keeping their flak group, mostly by virtue of the fact that anything that's wandered away from it has been wiped out. Okay. Don't want to get too close to the Alabama. But with a bit of luck, if he's going for the... looks like he's vectored on the Freddy, so... if I get this right... Okay, commit to that. Yeah, that's a mutual strafe. But more to the point, I am now past his aircraft and in a good position to just run down. This guy knows what he's doing, and it's highly irritating. Normally keeping your bombers stacked like that is problematic. Now he's going to come in, commit, excuse me, that's a sharp 90, and he's dragged into a dogfight. Break clear of that, stun them, but they've got through and dropped onto the Bismarck. Eagles, this guy's better than I am. Never mind, however, we have found the enemy, so let's go give him the good news. 4 and 5 are up in the air. It's going to have to be the Alabama. That's the only target that we can actually... Oh no, there's the Montana, but I don't want to try 10 tier 7 bombers against a tier 10 battleship. Coming in. 1 hit. Yeah, that's RNGesus for you. Right. Okay, divert the torp bombers. His fighters are chasing the dive bombers. They should get to flat cover before the inevitable. So we'll kick the torpedo bombers down to hit the battleships. Group 3 is, yeah, there we go. Send them back, and he's now trying for the intercept. And I have a nasty suspicion that this guy is actually going to manage to intercept the drop. Which he is. Fine, back him off. Need to get those fighters firmly out of the way before I try and do anything against those battleships. It's going to be nasty enough flying into 2 battleships worth of flak. Trying to simultaneously take on fighters as well is pushing it just a bit too much. Oh, Shimakaze gone. Torpedo bombers circling, fighters good to re-engage. Okay, and yoink, just commit the strafe. Right, he's dodged away. That's fine by me. Break clear. And then lock in. And ouch! Yeah, this guy is much better as a carrier driver than I am. Just get those... No, don't! I love the way that this UI will sometimes just accept your orders and lock them in for no apparent reason. And I'm out of fighters, which is a bit of a pisser. Thanks to a couple of very well trained. That's how easy it is to get yourself deplaned in a Graf Zepp. Hi, Pecky. Well, I wouldn't say massive amounts. Bear in mind that I'm getting thoroughly outplayed here. And I've still done 60,000. And we're still winning. Mostly thanks to the fact that we've actually found his Graf Zeppelin, right? Okay, let's get the bombers out. Go support... No, we're not going to bother hitting that Ibuki. He's had it. The Alabama's had it, mostly because in the course of trying to dodge everything else, he ended up in front of a Freddy's guns. Right. Group 4 on the run in. Right, we'll just go for an automated drop on the Monarch. And, oh yes, high explosive bombs. So we can maybe do something about that low young that's in smoke. Ugh. Yes. Hello, Stunt. Good to see you. Okay, automated drop from the torpedo bombs at this stage. 2 in the water. Target is turning. Target is turning entirely the wrong way. Target is not, however, flooding, which is a little disappointing. Put the bombs onto this low young. Boom. Auto drop's a bit disappointing with the high explosive bombs, honestly. But that low young's probably had it anyway with that much fire coming in. Well, surprisingly he's not dead yet. But, as I said, deplaned. Almost completely. Only thing I've got left really is the dive bombers, and I can't do anything about the 18 armor-piercing bombs that are about to hit this North Carolina. Boom. Yeah. So this loadout, I'd say, is, on paper, worse than the triple dive bomber load, because frankly everyone sees torpedo bombers and goes, oh god, no, weapons of doom, arg. But honestly, the dive bombs on this thing are potentially so effective against medium to heavy targets that they're the more dangerous planes. Which is a bit of a reversal of the usual meta. Normally you expect the torpedo bombers to be, ouch, to be the ones you have to watch out for. This time, no. Very, very definitely the AP-equipped dive bombers. So we'll pop a raid onto this guy just because there's nothing else left to shoot at. And, well, despite it being an appalling game, I still did almost 70,000 damage. Even if I did get pretty much completely deplaned by this guy. So you know what, we're going to shove a compliment to that guy because he thoroughly outplayed me. And, oh, here comes the nuclear bombers once again. Who do we think they're going for? Probably the Freddy. And no one's got defensive anti-air either. Well, this is going to be painful. Rip. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And that was lucky. There weren't too many citadels coming off that one. And, oh, there we are. In come my own bombers. And, well, actually, no. There were my bombers, but that's what a strafe from a 10-plane squadron does. Still, one bomber gets through. Misses. Never mind. The destroyers... Surely the destroyers can inflict blood-soaked vengeance upon the... How do you even... Okay, this will be interesting. Surely the destroyers will be able to take down a single lone carrier. Well, actually, this is Graf. Graf has quite accurate secondaries. Graf is also pulling some rather dank reverse torpedo beat. Oh, almost. And oh dear. I can see a slight technical problem emerging here. Oh dear. Scub, turn. Ooh. Close one. Never mind. Revenge torpedoes are in the water. That Shimikaze might be spotted, but it doesn't matter. Graf is gone. Okay, so almost got through stage 4 of the Yamamoto. We're going to run this loadout again, but we're going to run it with AP bombs this time, which is going to be very weak against destroyers. Ha 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 ha. And for some reason I'm on completely the wrong ship. Excuse me, I want Graf Zeppelin Test 2. There we are. Right, and we're going to switch over to the AP bombs. So, 1 nuclear-armed squadron, 2 torpedo-armed squadron with diversionary warheads, and 1 squadron of fighters. We're also, just for giggles, going to slap on... Let me see, where did I leave it? There we are, November Echo Sector 7. Actually, no, that only works for the rear guns. It doesn't boost fighters. Who cares? To battle. Right. And Cruel, I was expecting him to close quarter at least 1. I was expecting that Shimikaze to come round the corner and get a face full of secondaries, but, well, the Graf got a face full of torpedoes first. So, what goes around comes around. Anyhow, let's see where these things go. And yes, if you spec manual secondaries, and with AP dive bombers, you might actually have the points for it. And I think we'll experiment with that in a moment. Yeah. you totally can. And hello, Graf. I think we'll experiment with a manual secondary because I think it's going to be possible. I just would prefer not to get that close, although it's got its advantages. I suppose if you go for a battle carrier style build. Alright, we'll think about it when we get back. I have an 18-point German captain on my Bismarck at the moment, and I can spare the doubloons for a respec. For the moment, however, we are going to put one fighter squadron up on the centre, and 3, 4, 5. Okay. Alright, we'll just centre the bombers for the moment. 26 seconds to get the fighters prepped and ready to go. The nice thing about that long time is that because of Graf's 5-second launch, the planes all come off the deck pretty much on sequence. By the time the bombers are off, the fighters are 6.5 seconds off their own launch, so they are set and ready to go. You can get everything in the air pretty much on auto. It isn't like, say, a Shokaku, where if you want your fighters in the air first, you have to hold your bombers on the deck for that first launch while they're being given orders. Also, I want to push up and pull away. I just want to be I've got this whopping great lack of concealment, haven't I? I just want to be somewhere else. Okay, push out, do a little bit of scouting with the fighters. Let's see what we get. Possibly one very, very surprised Shokaku. In fact, there he is. Hello, boys. You have 2 fighter squadrons. I'm sure you're so proud. And, yep, they're running. However, they've also got bombers. However, he is actually just trying to bait to flak. So, you know what? We're not having it, especially not fighting over a gearing, which is probably loaded for defensive AA. Ha ha ha. Nope. Not taking those odds. Let's see. There's a Tirpitz to bully over there that looks on its own. There's a Baltimore. Yeah, he was trying to sucker us into the defensive fire, wasn't he? Nice try, mister. Nice try. Okay, so we have a Hindenburg, a Montana, a Tirpitz. Yeah, that Neptune might be troublesome. I just loiter the fighters for a bit. Don't want them getting too adventurous. Okay, Group 5's hit some early flak. Of course, the Neptune has dual-purpose guns, so they have to brave that for a bit. And... oh, right. Run the air wing past. Okay, set 3 into fire and forget mode. Bring 4 and 5 down onto their initial point. Put Group 2 in position to intercept the drop on that Benson. And I need to think about... I need to actually ignore the bombers for a bit. 4 and 5 can actually break off. Group 2, engage. And astonishingly, I think we might be in a good position to win this one. And even if we don't... because he's not got air supremacy... oh, no, 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 no. Lost a surprising number of fighters very quickly there. And we only didn't hit the Tirpitz that much either. And the dive bombers got wiped out as well by flaks while I had my eyes off them. Youch! Tier 10 flak, ladies and gentlemen. It can be brutal, to say the least. However, we are in a good position now to just swing round and take shelter in littorals around A. So yeah, this is one of the Graf's weaknesses, and I don't know what kind of spec it was. That, yeah, tier 9 only, cough. It was still a Neptune, it was still a rather brutal affair involving quite a lot of dual-purpose 6-inch guns, and, well, Graf has a good time when she's top of the tier, and yeah, Neptune can have better anti-air than Minotaur because of those extra 2 6-inch guns, and I think she's got some more 20 and 40 mil as well. I'm not sure. Only if spec for it, though. Okay, right, so Bombers died, accomplishing precisely nothing on their first run. And because of the way he's spread out, I don't actually have a good target, do I? Okay, well, let's put the torpedo bombers up and send them round. Let's at least get them off the deck. The Baltimore's got defensive fire, and we'll have it recharged by them. The Neptune, impossible to hit target, can't hit him. Ditto the Hindenburg, the Baltimore. The only things I can hit basically with the torpedoes are the Shokaku, the Montana, and the Tirpitz, all of which are covered by, the cruisers, which are packing a remarkable amount of anti-air Dakar between them. So what the am I meant to do at this point with this loadout? If it was the dive bombers, I could chance it. I mean, I'd lose most of the bombers, but I could maybe rip up a Shimikaze or two, or at least scare them a bit. But with deep water torpedoes, no you can't, mister. You're not having fun at a boat's expense there. Alright, fighters are back up. So, yeah. Okay, well, I know the Neptune is still around there somewhere, but the Tirpitz is wandering away. We've got most of their heavy flak is over this side, and there's still that Neptune. And I still can't do anything about it because, well, if I send in the dive bombers, they'll probably all get wrecked. However, well, the Tirpitz is eating flak anyway. Alright, let's send in the dive bombers. Hit the Neptune. Maybe not need to hit the Neptune because he's about to eat rather a lot of torpedoes. No, he's turning. Not turning fast enough, matey. Smack and broadside. And okay, he's had it. However, that does leave me with an opening to hit the Tirpitz. Alright, push the fighters up in support. Okay, group 3 are set. We're going to... Never mind, the Tirpitz has had it. That just leaves the Montana and the Shokaku as the only two targets my torpedo bombers can hit. And the other problem with the Graf is that if your fighters get suckered into the wrong place, well, they're quick, but they still have a response time. Alright. Where's the Montana? There we are. Auto-target the Montana. Bombers on fighters on intercept. He's probably getting quite a bit of lag there. Oops, Cyclone. Okay, fine. So set this up. Just try and blitz past. Don't think we're actually going to hit anything, but there we are. Should be enough. Circle back. And yes, I was aware that was the sound of our torpedo bombers getting wrecked. But, well, a couple of strafes in the right place and all of a sudden there's no enemy air group anymore. Unfortunately, the 109s have got no ammo, so I'm going to have to break off, retrieve the fighters, rearm them, and that's going to give him some time to sort himself out. In the meantime, the Yamato has burned thanks to the Shokaku's fires. So, dive bombers, do your stuff. Torpedo bombers, yeah, I didn't actually expect you to hit anything, and in fact you didn't. Where has that ship gone? Oh, defensive fire from the Hindenburg. Still going to get a couple of bombs through, which are going to miss completely because defensive fire, and then they're all going to die on the way back out. This is the difference between a good game where you get lots of nice targets and a game where you get 3 targets for 2/3 of your bombers. The other 3/4 are completely immune and everything is packing enough either defensive fire or raw flak that your bombers get shredded on the way in and out anyway. So in effect, you're running a single monster air supremacy squadron. And to be fair, they've killed 24 so far. Of course, a Shokaku has about 72, so he's still got plenty left in the tank, and I haven't. Right. So here's the question. What good am I in this setup? Awkward. And this is the thing with Graf Zepp Test 2. 2/3 of her bombers are of extremely limited use. You need battleships, really, and you need battleships that aren't covered by the flak. And having the AP bombs just really makes it even more obvious. And no. I am not going near this little knot of death and destruction down in Gulf 5. No way, no how, is the short answer to that one. Although the dive bombers might be... Actually, we might be able to do something with the Montana, but his own fighters are there, so pull them up. Oh, there we are. Hang on a second. He's got a... Shunk. Well, they were... Officially, they were in the attack cone, but apparently not. Right, so it's 8 on 9, 8 on 8. Breakaway. Not having those odds. Tell you what, you guys can come over my flak for once. There we are, that's more like it. And I don't think they quite know what they're getting into. Ah, never mind, we've won. Well, the rest of the team won. I just ambled along and derped my way across. But yay! We have finished Phase 4 of the Yamamoto campaign. So we'll just quietly snag that and have a look at what we need to do with regard to carriers in the final phase. So, collect the rewards. And then drop out. Get task 5. So what have we got by way of carriers? 40 aircraft with cruisers. With cruisers. With cruisers. With destroyers. Wait, you want me to what? Receive 1.5 melee HP potential damage and survive... no. 350,000 to battleships with aircraft carriers. Okay, so that one I think we can have. Tier 8 to 10 carriers. 2,500 ribbons. Tier 8 to 10 ships in general. And the usual credit spam for the rest. 300,000 damage to cruisers. Okay, well let's snag those two. 300,000 damage to both battleships and cruisers. Back up on that. And also... claims of boxes. Come on, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Okay, that's not too shabby, honestly. I mean, I'd have preferred shit, but not too shabby. And in the other box, we have got... paint. Yay! Ooh, 50... Actually, those are plus 100% camos and 100%. So those, that's actually pretty decent. And we also have a random box to grab. Wait for it. Wait for it. Nah. Okay. Open container. And, okay, 4/10 of a Kraken. Well, I'm not going to get a Kraken on this because it's a test ship anyway. Right, so... okay, so I have a... Graf Zepp Test 2, oddly enough, despite having torpedoes, is the weaker of the two. If she had surface-running torpedoes, then I think she'd be considerably stronger. And she might actually swing back into maybe too strong, but as it stands, for sheer destructive potential, currently the 103 is coming out on top with the AP bombs. So let's try them with the high explosive, because that's the only combination we haven't checked so far. Also, Graf Zepp 2 also has worse reserves. She spreads her reserves more thinly, I think is a better way of putting it. They have the same hangar capacity, 72 per plane. It's the fact that she needs to replenish, as you say, a large fighter squadron and a large dive bomber squadron along with 2 torpedo bomber squadrons. And yes, you're right, she does spread her reserves rather thinly. Of course, all the other Tier 8 carriers potentially have to do that as well. But Graf is vulnerable to it. I'm noticing it more with Graf, certainly, that it's very easy to get deplaned. Not sure why that is, actually, but I can't say I've ever had that problem with the likes of Shokaku, and Shokaku has got, I think, the exact same hangar capacity. 72. I know Enterprise is 72. Actually, no, Enterprise is 96, which is pretty impressive. Shokaku is... Yeah, Shokaku is 72, and I'm noticing running out of planes a lot more with Graf Zepp than I am with Shokaku, but that might just be my memory playing tricks. Anywho, I said we were going to try something a little different with the captains, so I'm just going to borrow Carl from Bismarck. He's currently in a Bismarck configuration. It's in a good cause. For science, commence the bribery. So, 18 points to play with. Let's start with the obvious, the core carrier skills. So, servicing expert, yes please. Dogfighting expert, yes, because you can run into tier 8 fighters and they're only tier 7, so more damage. Expert rear gunner, yeah. Well, there's not really anything else to pick at this tier, is there? Not that's going to come into serious points. Yes, and Cruel, I think you have a point there. The planes are so low on HP, especially the fighters, question mark, compared to tier 8s, that if you run into heavy flak, the squadrons just evaporate. And we actually saw that in that last battle, where I stacked the 2 torpedo bomber wings inadvertently. I think it was in the Hindenburg's flak, long range only, and went away, dealt with the fighter squadron, and zoop, looked back and they were all dead. So I think we're going to go with... Let's go with Adrenaline Rush. Because the enemy will be shooting us up on the approach. Then we don't need Demolition Expert, because we don't have anything capable of starting a fire. We don't need torpedoes. We'll take Emergency Takeoff. And then we want... Oh, I think we want Advanced Firing Training for the extra range. We'll take Manly Secondaries for ludicrous accuracy. And I've got 3 points left, so we'll slap on base. You need another point. Forgot Air Supremacy. Can we do this? Bear in mind, this is for an all dive bomber spellfire. I don't have any torpedoes in this build. There's no point. With this particular version of the Graf... Oh, hang on a second. Switch. Thank you, Spellfire. You just saved me a rather embarrassing mistake. Graf Zepp Test 1 is the ship we want. Oh, just snag him, and then I'm going to have to drop more doubloons because I made a mistake in my build. Luckily, we spot it early. Redistribute, commence bribery again. So, servicing expert. Dogfighting expert. You know, we could drop dogfighting expert. Come back to it later. Yes, in fact we will. Adrenaline Rush. Emergency Takeoff. Then we want Air Supremacy. Manual Secondaries. And Advanced Firing Training to extend the range. So what we now basically have is a battle carrier build. I have no idea how well this is going to work. It may go horribly wrong. Oh, Lord. Right, well, let's find out. Also, in terms of skills, we want... What do we want? Well, we want a Mike Yankee Sock 6, certainly. And then... can't detonate, so there's no point in that. Won't be setting many... Could go for fires with the secondaries. Yes, witness indeed. And spellfight depends on the map. This is more of a initially push up, get quick turnarounds on the bombers, and then late game, if we get caught or if we get the opportunity, just push forwards with it. So we'll load in an extra 5% speed, get the maneuverability up to 33 knots, rudder shift 10 seconds, so we might even pull some dunk torpedo beats. What I'm also... oh yes, mount the ramming flag. Good point. There we go, and we'll set auto-enable on all of that. Also, yet again, they've shipped Graf without any camouflage. So we'll just put her in Hunter, which, as I say, looks kind of nice, has to be said. I don't know why they keep shipping her without her clothes, but there you go. They never do it with any of the other ships. I wonder if they're trying to tell us something. Okay. So, we are set, more or less. Just check the modules. Check the signals. Yes, very lewd. And also switch the bombs back to armor piercing and load premium damcon, because this build does involve being set on fire. Possibly quite considerably. Also load defensive AA2 and upgrades. No, I'm not willing to trade away a third of my fighter's ammunition to get the secondary battery mods. As funny as it would be, I'm not going that far down the battle carrier road. Right. Let's go. This could be... this is either going to be hilarious or it's going to be hilarious for the other team. Depends on the map. Right, so we have a Shokaku, they have Conquerors, and it's Warrior's Path. Okay, well there are a couple of handy hidey holes on this one. Not too much flak. Unfortunately, that carrier, OMV. Okay, I think we can safely assume that he knows what he's doing. And yep, Warrior's Path, so not a lot of cover, but we'll tuck in... we'll move up here. Actually, no, because concealment on this thing's so bad. We're going to move up there. Set the fighters. That should be enough that we can just tighten up behind and get a quick turnaround on point A. Speaking of point A, that's where we're going first. See if we can't get a quick raid up before his own fighters get into play. What could possibly go wrong with this build? Everything! You should know not to ask that question by now, Captain Pie. Oh, Lord. There are maps that are more suited to this build. Warrior's Path has quite a lot of open lines of sight, which can make things interesting if you're trying to force a close-range engagement. Cap B. There's nowhere to park the carrier to Cap B. I mean, I'm pushing my luck just trying to hide it behind this island here. Also, we need to get that at full speed. So, honestly, Cap B might be interesting. Okay, there's a Conqueror. Well, no defensive fire, but a ton of 40 mil. Actually, no. What has a Conqueror got? I thought Conqueror, lot of mid. I know it's got a lot in the mid and close range brackets. Secondary range on this thing, you have a point. Let's just have a look. Yoink. 7.9 kilometers. So, quite capable of making a dent. Let's send in the bombers. Get the fighters on standby, just push them up. Let's see how many survive a run on a Conqueror, shall we? Oh, Group 3 lost 4, lost 5. They've started on the second group, but the Montana's engaging as well. And we did 11,000 damage. And we basically lost 2 squadrons of bombers, and now his own planes are showing up. And I am not in the mood for a secondary fight with a Conqueror, so we're going to back off and rotate away. And in fact, we lost the entire dive bomber wing to flak. So that pretty much tells you what Tier 10 flak does to a Graf Zeppelin planes, but hey, Tier 8 carrier, that's depressingly normal. And in the meantime, his own bombers are coming in. Conventional dive bombers, surface torpedo bombers. He's got his defensive fire going, so those bombers are going to have a miserable time of it while I get my fighters over to intercept. And he just lost rather a lot of aircraft for no real gain. Oops. And, yep, there we are. Enemy planes chased away. Okay. Waves are set. 3, 4, 5 armed up. And there's another conqueror at point C. Ha. Right. I could really, really use the rest of the team pushing up, if you don't mind. Just saying, guys. Right, drink clear. Okay, there we are. He's going for a cross strafe. Okay, that broke the worst of his planes clear. Oh. Retaliate. Don't bother retaliate. If you guys had actually gotten yourselves turned round, that would have been nice. This UI, I swear, half the time it rolls a dice as to whether or not the pilots can be bothered to obey your instructions. Well, that gearing's in air defense mode, so I'm quite happy to just dance over this section for a little. Oh, bombers coming in. Let's just dissuade them. He got his drop off, but there we go. And retrieve group 2 need to replenish their losses. Second thoughts. Forget retrieving group 2. One last strafe. Yeah, you really need the numbers to make this count, and the gearing is getting thoroughly bullied, but it's not going to save the Hoverosk. There we are, 310 gone. First blood to us. Right. 3, 4, 5. Well, there's a Zau, a Hindenburg. We've lost the gearing. And yet again, I'm left looking for a viable target. Mind you, this is the life of a Tier 8 carrier at Tier 10, I suppose. Lean back for the first 10 minutes. Tell me about it. The problem is, if by the time you do lean, you're done leaning back, half the time your opponents, well, your teammates have either won or lost the battle. Okay, group 2 returning. 3, 4, 5. Let's just try to bring them in. We can probably... Do we hit the Do we hit the Hipper or the North Carolina? That is the question. The Amagi is probably going to trade with the North Car. Alright. Group 3, hit the North Carolina, kill it before it can ram. There we go, that should do the trick there. Groups 4 and 5 kick in, hit the Hipper. Okay, that's weakened that quite considerably. One good broadside should do the trick there. Scatter the bombers so they don't get strafed. RTB, relaunch the fighters. There we go. We lost the Armageddon, but we took out 2 more of their ships, so I'll take that as a trade. Okay, rearm the bombers. Next target will have to be that North Carolina, and I really, really need the rest of the team to, you know, get north, guys. The control points are that way. Well, I suppose it makes it easy to work out where I need to put the fighters. So they get the destroyer to spot the... at least they haven't decided to start yelling at me yet. Also, I actually need to turn round. Because I do not want to run away from my... Yeah, here it comes. They were going to be looking for a snipe. Mind you, I've got defensive fire, so... Oh, great, they've got me hard acquired now. That Tashkent has got line of sight and range. Okay, 3, 4... 3, 4, 5... Up. Right. Group 2, move in. We're going to take those bombers while they're still marshalling. He's going to notice, of course. There we are. That scared the bombers off, at least. Well, I suppose we could try to take the Tashkent. So you know what? Harder starboard. We're going to test this theory. Lock secondaries. Let's give this Russian a surprise. Let's set a course like that, basically. Decoy him into range and then leg it. And he's running for the Hindenburg. That's fine. Back it off. Kill those fires. The problem is I'm going to... It isn't just the... Oh, you're going to be kidding me. The problem is it isn't just the Tashkent. The Hindenburg wants to go as well. Right, okay. North Carolina is smoked. Right, target the Hindenburg, set that up. Pull the carrier back, okay. Battle carrier has engaged. Let's see how you like this, mister. Oh yeah. I think he's just had quite a nasty surprise, don't you? Unfortunately, this armor piercing... This fire I'm taking from the Conqueror and the Hindenburg is going to do me in before I can kill the Tashkent. Well, if there hadn't been two ships running supporting fire, that might actually have worked. It certainly gave a full health Tashkent a very nasty surprise. Let's see what the bombers managed to achieve. Come on. Boom. Okay, and ripped a good chunk of health off him as well. Okay, this build's got some potential, I think is the way to sum this up. Of course, when the rest of your teams... I mean... What can you say to this kind of tactical picture? Gods, yes. So... Yeah. The good news is that this is probably going to be over quickly. Okay, well, I think the politest possible exception at this point is, sod it, let's head back to port. So... I think we've got some... I think this build's got potential. I mean, it's unconventional and it's risky, but it's got potential. And of course, in the right map, if you get close, you get a much quicker turnaround on the bombers. That's much more damage. Yeah, 51 hits onto a Tashkent. Well, I think we'll just wait for that to... sort itself out, that little debacle. What I'm also going to do, however, is make a tweak in the options menu. Because normally, of course, the game locks you into your gunsight mode when you have a carrier in play. So we're just going to disable that so I can go back down to normal visual mode. I can toggle out of carrier view, and that'll give me better control if I do need to go Battlestar. So... time to give this a few more runs, I think. Whether we can refine the build remains to be seen. Kinda need emergency takeoff. I mean, ideally what I'd like is to have basic firing training in there as well, but there's no way to make it work. I'm kind of improvising with Adrenaline Rush on the basis that I'm going to be taking hits. I could have hit the Conqueror harder at the start. Manual drop is about 75-80 meters radius compared to 105. It's not that big a difference, it has to be said. So I'm not sure it would make much difference, and it certainly wouldn't have torn the Conqueror a new one, as I really needed to. A nuclear drop was needed there, and it just didn't happen. Besides, with two tier 10 battleships worth of flak, the bombers weren't going home anyway. So honestly, that was a bad choice of target. It's like all tier 8 carriers in that respect, really. If you get tier 10 opponents and they overlap their flak, there's very little you can do about it. At least very little you can do about it that leaves you with any planes 2 minutes later. So, just wait for things to sort themselves out. They're taking a remarkably long time to die over there, aren't they? Okay, well, meh. Pop Jakob into the... There we go. Fine, they're dead. Excellent. Okay, guys, let's go again. Flags are set, camo is set, skills are set. Yoink! Yeah, this was worth 800 doubloons to test out. Okay, what are we getting? Please don't be tier 10 again, and please be a nice close quarters map. Come on. Come on, game. What do we got? Ugh. There's way too much defensive fire and flak on there for my taste. Still, at least it's a Lex, and it's a 46 rated Lex. Trying to remember. I think that's a 111 setup, but he's got upgraded planes. So we'll see. And we've got all these little islands on the left-hand side to play with. So, okay, Graf, let's move you up to... Well, let's get you off the dock first. 3, 4, 5. We'll start with a run down to A just to see if there's anything area. Put the fighters over B as a scout and blocking force. Accelerate the carrier. And... just make a turn. I forgot to load premium consumables. Ah, who cares? It's all for science anyway. This is a whacked out build by most standards. I'm not going to tell the teammates what we're doing, that's for sure. And then harder port, and we'll just drop down, get a good look at the Graf. There we are. She is pretty in her own Germanic efficient way. Okay, and then swing round, harder port. Bombers are coming up, so let's just kick up to carrier view again. And maps, so I want to really be heading for that point with the masts at the moment. So 3, 4, 5, tuck in. Group 2, push forwards as well. What are the enemy up to? Dying in droves by the look of it. Okay. There's 23. He's got bombers. Okay. Not sure this is wise, but we can probably do a quick and efficient job of beating his fighters to death. There's the third. Right, send in the dive bombers. Yep, there we are. Raw damage is telling. Mostly 2, 1. Come on, 1. There we go. Come on, make the kill. There we go. And away they go. Time to chase down these bombers. Okay, set manual drop on the Colorado. Lead it. 3 hits. That's more like it. The other reason, by the way, for going for automatic drops is that they always target centre mass. and therefore the citadels. So it's if your aiming skills are not brilliant, it's a good way to learn. Right, commit strafe there. Just take down his torpedo bombers. Bang. And Flak's going to deal with those. So rearm the fighters, pull them back. Ditto the bombers. And we're in a nice safe position. Do I really want to be getting close to that many battleships? No, I don't. Harder starboard. We're going to go say hi to that Z-23. This is a horrible plan. Oh, Lord. This island... Thing is, if I can get onto the cover of this airstrip and deal with that Colorado, this might actually work. There's going to be a danger moment running parallel to the cruisers, but by and large... Yes, I did, but... Yeah, okay, well, never mind. 3, 4, 5, we're going to go say hi to that Colorado again, because once I'm in position, that's the first thing that can turn my flank. Okay, so bombers are launching, fighters are rearmed, get the fighters back up. Just keep them on standby. And we'll use the bombers to... Ouch! Okay, that was awkward. And then lock secondaries onto the 23. Okay. Right. Target the Colorado. I need to get that settled in. Shift back. Rearm control on the carrier. Okay, right. We have secondaries locked. There we are. And oh, that is a... That's a problem. That's a problem with this playstyle, I would say. And something has just shredded. And I mean absolutely shredded. Oh, right, that Colorado's anti-air woke up is what happened. Wow. Well, they got a hit in, but... Huh. Okay, so... Forget using this aggressively, at least to start with. Okay, we'll go back to port, and I'll show you. Normally in the game, the carrier camera is disabled. It's on the shift key. But since so many people were getting themselves tied in knots trying to enable it, in the settings there's an option marked Disable Shift for Aircraft Carriers, and that is on by default. So you're looking at... You need to disable that to get the 3D world camera back. But it's kind of handy. Not something we need for the next run, however, because we're going to be going back to the less brutal Graf, the kinder, gentler Graf. The other reason is that, of course, Shift is also the button used for multiple selections, so you end up flicking between camera and multiple select when you're in the carrier mode, and it does get a little disorienting. Okay, and we have Langsdorff Hans. Okay, fine. Okay, so things we've learned. This build, that build can work, but it is not to be used in the opening stages of the battle, even if it does look like a destroyer has wandered off on its own. Yeah, so much for the whole notion of the battle carrier. That concept was flawed in real life, and it's flawed in the game. Makes you wonder what they're going to do with Akagi if they ever give her standard load. Well, her 1920s load. That would be an interesting tier 6. Okay, right, so 4 and 5 up. And bombers to standby. Actually, we'll keep the fighters over these two, because they're relatively vulnerable. We'll tuck in behind the surface line this time, and we'll put the bombers overhead ready to scout and strike. We will do it sensibly. CV side is pushing side. Okay, fine. Make your mind up. In randoms? Didn't think that ever happened. Okay, right. Dive bombers away to scout B in that case. Group 2 up to cover and intercept. 4 and 5 round on the flank, scout C. And maybe get themselves some nice handy battleship action. I mean, there's a Bismarck, a Fossaux, 2 Tirpitzes, plenty of stuff here we can bully. Of course, the enemy will also be looking this way, so it might get a little dicey later on. Right. Just tucking behind. Oh, wait, no, they're not going for B and C. Change of plan. What's the poem? Those at the back cried forwards, those at the front cried back. I know the line, but I can't place it. Ooh, biscuit. Hello, biscuit. Right, let's go bully a biscuit. Oh, just stand off, bring in the dive bombers. Again, nice centre drop right on the citadel. Nice, easy. I'm hesitant to say idiot-proof, because there's no such thing, but certainly idiot-resistant. And commit. Oh, there's the defensive fire. Nicely timed from the Chapayev, but it is not really going to help the Bismarck very much, is it? Never mind, he's only going to eat 4 torpedoes. And now the dive bombers come in. I'm actually going to back them off. Let's give it another 20 seconds or so. Oh, duck that fighter squadron out of the way. He is going to give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then... come on, come on. You've got to go for a strafe at some point, mate. Oh. Okay, here's how you do it, my friend. The answer is you run away from me completely. Okay, now he wants to engage and right over in Oknevoy as well. Right, defensive fire gone. Get the dive bombers into the Bismarck. And then break my own fighters away from that one, because that was not a winning engagement. Bombers come in. Bombers got thoroughly shredded, but still did 2 citadel hits, so ripped 50,000 off a Bismarck without too much difficulty. And torpedo bombers are just about back and ready to reload. We're going to lose the dive bombers on the way out. 4 and 5 rearm, get into position to sink the Bismarck. Except not, because the fighters are now looking this way and going for an intercept. Okay, well, let's stack them. Seriously, did we not shoot down 1 fighter, guys? Oh, RNGesus, you so fickle. Well, at least we've covered the bombers away. Alright, run the torpedo bombers over the main fleet group. There we go. I'm actually going to have to pull myself out of the way, because they've completely surrendered this flank. That's awkward. That is really awkward, guys. Help. Oh, well. Interesting, I didn't get an air detection warning there. Fine, solid. Let's go for the Tirpitz instead. What kind of health is that on? 40,000. This is going to be a waste of ammo, isn't it? And in fact, we are going to turn southwest and run, because their entire team is coming up pretty much through A and B. So, save the torpedoes, circle them round. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let the Tirpitz see the bombers just for a second. Then we're going to break away. And then we're going to cycle them back. We haven't seen his own dive bombers. That's a Graf Zepp Test 1. He's got 3 waves of dive bombers to play with. He doesn't need to worry about sniping me. There's a Tirpitz that's about to get into range. And there are the bombers. Oh, Lord. Guys! This is what happens when you completely ignore a control point. They bottle you all up in A, and it all goes to... Yeah. Oh, well. turn away, run. Start wiggling. Four and 5 on the go. Group 3 inbound. Group 3, target Chapayev. Well, target Tirpitz. That Chapayev's got defensive fire up again. Never mind, it'll have run out by the time that the torpedo bombers get there, which is something. 2 hits. Ooh, 1 sit. Ripped a good 10,000 off, so that's softened him up a little. And the Chapayev, more to the point, the Chapayev has popped its defensive fire. Let's just heal that up. Stop the rot if nothing else. Problem is, I don't have the speed to run away from a Chapayev. Well, never mind the Chapayev. I don't have the speed to run from a Tirpitz. Do I? Actually, I do. 33 knots compared to 30 and a half. So I could just about in a pinch. Okay, just fine-tune this. There we go. Set the return. Unfortunately, I aimed... Oh, never mind, we got him. Okay, so that's one gone. And, yeah. You can, of course, argue that this is totally my fault for not moving with the fleet. To which I'd point out that if the fleet had not... Yeah, well, at least the Chapayev's distracted, so fix the fires. All of them, and, Bravo, I kind of need you to ram that guy. Or torpedo him if you can get your other launcher away. Good boy. 4 and 5, what are you guys doing over here? Get group 3 on the go. Okay, we might just about avert disaster here. Mostly thanks to a Chapayev that can't shoot straight, and a very ballsy Fiji. Congratulations, my friend, you get an upboat. Where are you? Compliment, there we go. He gets one. Of course, that just leaves the Alba. And I'm going to have to manual drop this because I won't hit anything with an auto drop. Get the fighters over. Need them in position to intercept there. And... screw it. He's popped defensive fire, so you know what? Whoop. Yeah. Auto drop regardless. Unfortunately, the Alba is about to get the range, which is problematic. Okay. Graf Zepp actually killed the Kiev. That's a surprise. Okay, again, we're going to see if we can bait a strafe from this guy. Even better, we're going to lure him into the path of that catapult fighter. And he's gone for it. And he's not gone for it well enough, but... Seriously? Okay, right. Okay, get bombers off the deck, retrieve the retrieve the dive bombers, torpedo bombers running, they'll go for the Faso next time, and with the Bismarck distracting the Alba... Oh, no, maybe he's not as distracted as I'd like him to be. Bismarck, kindly kill that Alba if you wouldn't mind. Wait, are you firing high explosive? Well, okay, I wasn't aware it was the weekend, but there you go. I shouldn't really be complaining. It is working. The Alba's actually firing high X at me when he could get some... Probably get the kill with a... Oh, there we are. Not dead yet. Right, 4 and 5 line up on the Faso. 3, you need to think about hitting that Pepsi Cola. Group 2, continue your Mexican standoff if you wouldn't mind. Dive bombers don't work on the Graf Zepp. And the catapult fire just saunters on by, not a care in the world. At least I've got the flak support this time. Except I haven't. Break clear. I'm going to need to do something about those dive bombers. like so, and then do something about these dive bombers, like so, and then realise that he's essentially suckered my fighters, but we'll let them get their run in. Maybe that was not the wisest decision I've ever made. Alright. Group 5, target. Group 4, target. Yes, I know this is under defensive fire and therefore hideously unwise, but, well, shotgun the torpedoes. It's a faso. I mean, such misfortune in that kind of range. She was never going to miss the lot. And I'm going to back the dive bombers off just for a moment. I need to wait for this defensive fire to run out. Then we'll go in and murder the Pepsi-Cola. Right, okay, give it another 30 seconds or so. There we are. Right. Retrieve Group 2. Group 3 should have this. Just needs one decent hit. We did not get one decent hit, thanks to that catapult fighter, I think, but, well, that's fine. And there's now nothing... Well, there is something for the torpedo bombers to aim at. Unfortunately, it's the Graf Zeppelin. How much have they improved the Graf? Well, she's less brutally overpowered than she was. Especially this version, where the torpedoes can't hit anything but battleships and carriers. I think they might actually have swung it a bit too far the other way with this load, because, well, I can't... 2/3 of my firepower, well, half my firepower, can't hit cruisers, can't hit destroyers, so that very effectively shuts down the terror fest that was the original 15 torpedo Graf Zepp. The 3 dive bomber version is... I don't think that's going to make life, honestly, because, one, it's virtually idiot-proof. It is literally just point, click, and forget. And two, in the AP configuration, it does horrible things to battleships. It really does. Single 10 squadron fighter, yep, that's an interesting approach. Very powerful on the strafe, but the limited ammo means that you have to leave your team with large gaps. You can't rotate one squadron off the line to rearm and put the second one on as you can with, say, an Enterprise or a Shokaku or really any other carrier except the US Strike variants. She's better than she was. I would maybe consider nudging these back to surface torpedoes might make her a bit too powerful. So I'm in two minds about that. I would say this is probably the best balanced of the builds so far. Especially if I'm not playing it like a total numpty and completely off my timing. Okay, and yoink, just send in a strafe. There we go, that's more like it. Then catch this final one. Had a miserable air defense performance this time around. One of these days I will figure out how to get the fighters to actually obey my orders in a prompt and efficient manner. But that day is not today. So you know what, we're just going to kick over, let them have a little bit of a lead, and then strafe out and kill that bomber wing, because we can. And because we're a bit too close to the Graf zone flak for comfort. So break away from that, and then RTB. And since there's nothing else I can hit, get the bombers up. And we'll just see if we can actually get some torpedoes in on... Never mind. That's it. Game over. Yeah, definite improvement. Of course, with the skills you need to make the torpedoes usable on this particular build, you don't have the skills point slack for the monster carrier build. Sorry, battle carrier build that we were experimenting with the triple bomber graph. But that's back, and unsurprisingly we lost. So let's pull her out and run that again. This time we will not go fangs out, hair on fire. Okay, please let the matchmaking be cooperative. I will say this for the triple bomber graph. Oh, God. And it's Warrior's Path again. Yay! This went so well last time. Okay, let's see what it gives us for a deployment zone. And it's the other side of A. So, you know what? We've got this rather handy little alcove here. And that might just give us... It gives us cover from anything approaching B and C. If we push through A hard, then we can hopefully tuck in behind this corner here. Excuse me, I need to disable the... I need to switch the camera. Settings. Controls. Disable. Re-enable shift. Apply that. Okay, that. Right. So... yeah, that looks like it's got... there's enough mountain that we could take shelter in this bay here, and that would work. However, first and foremost, we need to... well, we need to... the surface fleet needs to push hard through A. So, we're going to hope they do that, and it looks like they are setting up for it. Okay, bombers are going. Fighters are up. Put them midfield just for... giggles, and it's a Graf Zepp test 2, so it's torpedoes and single bomber on his side. Well, he's going to have an interesting time of it. Well, he's got three battleships he can hit pretty easily. The Izmo, the Bismarck, and the Armaghi, depending on the exact hull variant. So I do need to watch what I'm covering. I really need the fighters positioned round about there, just to act as support fire. Now, where's the rest of the enemy? There's the Lion. Now, the fighters, we are getting out of here, and there's his bomber wave as well. Okay, now, there's only one bomber squadron that I can see there. Did he... oh, yes, of course, he's got his torpedo bombers as well. So... where's he put his torpedo bombers? There's the 23... okay, we're going to tuck the graph. We're going to tuck home plate in here as planned, I think. Or do we try to we still don't know enough of where the enemy is. So we'll just skitter in there. Group 2 is overhead. This is why they disable shift, by the way. It's so very easy to get yourself caught. And right, there's the rest of his air group. So 3, 4, 5. Re-engaging and harder port. It looks like all their heavies are this side, so we want to skedaddle across to B and C. I think we're going to make that turn without too much trouble. Fighters are inbound. They're trying for the Izmo. No, you fool. Take down the dive bombers. Alright. We'll wreck these guys' drops first. There we go. That's them panicked. Or maybe not. Okay, interesting. And waste a strafe. Pull the bombers clear. Fight. Bombers re-engaging. And then he strafes. Turn back. Counter strafe ourselves. Got you. That's more like it. Right, 3, 4, 5. Let's go say hi to a Bismarck. Set for auto drop. Correct course on the carrier. Swing it round in support. 3, 4, and 5 are running in, so yep, they'll have a good run on that Bismarck. Nothing to worry about there. Adjust carrier. Right. looking pretty good so far. Group 2... Actually, Group 2 retrieve and rearm, because those two strafes have run them down to 40% ammo. And quite a lot of flak, but one bang. 2 overpens. 2 bang. 3 bang. Okay, that's more like it. And Group 2... Yeah, they're committed to that rearm at the moment. Right. All ahead full. Just keep jinking, just keep jinking. And the Iowa gets the kill. Fair enough. Not complaining. It's not, dead battleship is dead battleship. Surprised that Prinz Eugen isn't shooting, but that Yamato definitely is high explosive as well. He knows what he's doing. I don't want to give him broadside for much longer, however. Coming up on a key turn point. So we'll just keep evading. Hope for the best. There we are. Now kick back. Still not got the range, however. Right, Group 2 is launching, ready to get back in the air. And then 3, 4, 5. I think that Prinz Eugen's got to go. Stack up DBs more. That would be ideal, yes. Okay. I can understand him going for the Shimakaze with the dive bombs, but those torpedo bombs have got to be targeting the Iowa. Or he's just forgotten that he can't actually hit a... Iowa, there we are. Right, so there... Kamiya... Yeah, there you are. It's all in hand, it's all in hand. We've chased them off, it's all in hand. Right, so the 23's gone. I need to make sure I don't actually hit that Armagi. Ow! Okay, got lucky there. Bombers coming in on the Prinz Eugen. Okay, that ripped a good chunk off him. Okay, he's let me slip past with my fighters, and he's just realised his horrible mistake, or his cunning plan of a trap, with the bombers as scattered as they are. Damn it, he jinked the right way. Okay, fine. And then he jinked the right way again. And again. And now I'm virtually out of ammunition, so I'm going to have to disengage. And of course he is going to be able to bring his fight squadron up right behind me. And probably pull a strafe. On the other hand, they are running away, and we are going right over this... There we are, he's broken off. Ammo. 3, 4, 5. Relaunch. Target... Target Yamato, I think. Less losses from AA that way. Yeah... The problem is that with so much long... The problem is that in the time you take to stack up, you're trading damage for a start. And you're also... Oh dear. Spot Minotaur. Yeah, certainly I'll spot the Minotaur. I'll throw away all my aircraft. The other problem is that stacking really doesn't work all that well. You know what? Let's go say hi. I mean, it's only neighbourly, right? Fighters up. Oh. No. 3, 4, 5. Change of plan. The Yamato's flak is actually less of a problem than the Lion plus a Graf Zepp's defensive fire. Breakaway, he's going to strafe that. There we go. Haha, got you. And yoink, manual drop. Yeah, I'll take that. Also, scatter the bombers. Ow. Okay, where's the Minotaur? Have my planes started falling out of the sky yet? Nope, there you are. There's your Minotaur spotted. I hope you're happy. Oh, I swear this guy's either very good or he's psychic, because he is evading the moment I kick in a strafe. I mean, there is a little bit of a tell, but you have to be either insanely good or running some kind of... let's not go there. I mean, I would really like to think there isn't something that basically says enemy has started a strafe attack. Also, I'm running a bit too close to US flak there, so back him off. And realise he's decoyed me. And what the flaming hell did... Oh, great. Grozavoy. Alright, change of plan, hit the lion. Also drop there. Benefits of doing a manual drop ranger is, well, let's take a look. That's the auto drop circle because it's automatically targeting. The manual drop is that little bit tighter. It's about 2/3 the radius, about 65-75 meters. So you get a much tighter spread, and you get therefore more bombs on target, more bombs in the citadel, more damage done. The advantage of auto drop is that it is click and forget. I mean, you can see here the solution is constantly updating. So I can task the bombers, and I don't have to worry about any kind of fine-tuning as you would with, say, torpedoes. I can just leave them to it. So it's very questionable with the current setup as to whether or not it's worth it, because with a fixed drop, I have to constantly tweak my line, and there's the option to miss, but I'm not going to that time. And finally, their carrier is dead. So yeah, that's the difference in a nutshell, basically. Manual drops are more accurate, do more damage, but you have to manually lead the target, and yeah, there's relatively little to choose. When you've got carrier torpedo drops, the manual drop pattern is actually more accurate and tighter. However, auto drop, particularly with these relatively accurate bombs anyway, is such that you don't lose too much, it has to be said, compared to a conventional manual dive bomb drop with high explosive. Something like the US dive bombers have an appalling accuracy under auto drop, so they really do have to be dropped manually. Yeah. Okay, 3, 4, 5, stacked, 2. Oh, let's just go try and salvage some pride. Hoover up a squadron of fighters, just convinced myself that it wasn't my... It was actually my defective aim, and oh wow, that Grozavoy. Yeah. Tier 10 anti-air destroyers, because destroyer anti-air needed a buff. Not at height, is it? Didn't. Yeah. Okay, let's stack the bombers again, tighten the formation, bring them in, and target the Alabama. Okay, admittedly, low tiers, it gets a little brutal. Tier 10 carriers, it gets a little brutal. Is he gonna run himself aground? I'm gonna circle just for a second. Yep, there we go. Goodbye, my friend. Oh. Unfortunately, because they circled in the Alabama's flak, bad stuff happened. And ooh, we have got something trying to harder port. We have got something trying to make a sneaky cap in point B. That's got to be the Ugamo. Alright then, all ahead full. Harder starboard. Ah, come on. This is the other reason why they disable shift by default. It gets messy. It gets very messy. Alright. Control point 3, control point 2 for scouting. Torpedoes in the water. Let's go find this destroyer. We just lost group 2. Didn't get visual on the Ugamo, but that's the Alabama poking out behind the island, so that's not a problem. Oh, okay, the Alabama's gone. 969, come on. They nerfed Grosavoy's anti-air because it was eating whole tier 10 carriers from stealth without the carrier being able to do a thing about it except run away. So what the difference is between that and this, you got me. And we're not even going to get to have some destroyer action. Pity. Oh well. Okay. Is it a good build? That is very questionable. So we've got quite a bit of damage done to the battleship, so I'll take that. And ooh, we finished the test mission. I have actually no idea what the award for that was. Still, 133,000 damage. Oh. Okay, and oops. Oh yes, 3 containers, and they're just regular ones. Fine, well let's pop it. Yoink. And yoink. As if I needed money. And yoink. Yay! Okay, well, it's all good. Free supplies and never worth turning your nose up at. Okay, so what do I think so far? Well, both of these loadouts are pretty decently balanced. They're both very situational when it comes to air defense. You have to have that squadron in the right place at the right time, handled correctly, and you have got long periods of downtime when you have to recover and rearm the fighters. So a savvy opponent will take full advantage of that and will use that to get their bombers through with a minimum of losses. In terms of ground attack, honestly, I'm leaning more towards the dive bombers than I am towards the torpedo and dive mix at the moment, simply because on the Graf Zeppelin Test 2, the torpedo and dive mix you get means that half your firepower, 2/3 of your bombers, are utterly useless against the vast majority of ships. Range review, I think so. I think to a certain extent they were throwing stuff at the wall to see what worked, but I think they're doing a good chunk of A/B testing at the moment, giving us 2 alternatives, see what we prefer, and, well, building on that. They're also probably looking at the telemetry from the games as well. My own personal leaning is heading towards the Graf Zeppelin Test 1. Maybe give it a mix. I mean, I think there are reasons why they can't, because it would be nice to have, say, 1 squadron of high X and 2 of AP, so you had a bit of oomph against lighter targets, but you traded off the ability to just nuke a battleship or potentially a heavy cruiser. So that's a tweak I would make, but other than that, I think we are getting towards a carrier that is different enough to be unusual, but decently balanced, if a little weak on the air superiority side, and a little weak on the... and a little stronger on the strike side. But overall, yeah, she's much better than she was. I mean, compared to how she was when she went live, quote unquote, when that was absolute mess went down, this is a much better carrier, and she's unusual enough to be distinctive. Graf Zepp captain's getting aggressive the way I was. Well, if you do it early in the game, you're going to get shredded, as we found out in this stream. But late game, when you're, say, chasing down a last destroyer, or maybe when a destroyer decides to get frisky with you and gets a really nasty surprise as a result, that Tashkent, then yeah, I'm going with Graf Zepp 1 at the moment. That's where my vote is headed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been yours. I'm going to close the stream here. We've been going for just over 2 hours. That has been the latest iteration on the Graf Zepp. I believe there's maybe one more round of testing to come. You might see me out and about with her over the course of the next few weeks anyway, just really having some fun. And remember, if you see a Graf Zepp and it's not got torpedoes, turning isn't gonna help. Until next time, farewell.